Welcome to Behind the Recipe. I'm your host, Christina Hitchcock. Join me every week as we dive into the joys of cooking, explore kitchen tips and tricks, and share delicious recipes that will inspire your next meal. So, whether you're a seasoned cook or just learning your way around the stove, there is something here for everyone. Today, we're talking with Tammy Overhoff from Organize Yourself Skinny and the Reset and Flourish Shop, all about how you can incorporate a healthier lifestyle, even if you have a hectic schedule. So, thank you for joining me today, Tammy.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to talk with you.
I know, me too. Now, before we get started and jump in, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
My name's Tammy Overhoff, and I started my blog, Organize Yourself Skinny, way back in 2011. And at that time, my kids were 5 and 3, and I was just at a point in my life where I just really decided that I needed to lose weight. And I kind of had these couple of aha moments. It's right when Facebook was on the scene and someone decided to tag me in a photo that I didn't get the memo on. So I open up my Facebook and I see this picture of me, and I just remember thinking, I just remember that moment so clearly because I just remember thinking, like, wow, I just cannot believe I let myself go to that level.
Mhm.
And it was just, it was really shocking to me. And then my next kind of aha moment was I remember thinking to myself, if I can just like if I knew how much I was eating and something told me, all right, stop eating when you get to this amount, then you're good. And my one colleague at my job at the time said to me, well, I just heard about this new app called My Fitness Pal, and I was like, oh, okay. So what I did was up until that point, I was always just diet hopping. So I would always just try the latest diet, do the latest thing. Nothing worked. And at that point, though, I really felt this like need to change. But I also knew that if I couldn't make this work years ago, before I had kids and the full-time job and all of that, that I was really going to struggle doing this with kids and working full time. And I just didn't really understand what my issue was because I wasn't eating fast food. I wasn't, well, what I thought wasn't fast food. So, anyway, long story short, I decided to do what I call it now, but at the time, I didn't call it this formal name, but I call it my food audit. And I literally just took like one day and I just went about my day as I normally do. And I just tracked everything in my fitness pal. And I remember just being just completely blown away. Not that I was eating so horrible, but that I just wasn't paying attention. And
Mhm.
all these extra calories and sugar and everything else was coming in with coffee creamer, with, extra
Yep.
salad dressing, croutons, whatever. But what I found from that moment was I found this like moment of relief because in the past I always thought that losing weight was all about having to do these like very restrictive things, overhaul my life, whatever, all the usual that we do. But what
Mhm.
I realized is that I just needed to make some tweaks. I just needed to make some adjustments to what I was eating, and I just had to do things like making sure that I had food ready for the week. So I knew that if I wanted to eat healthy for dinner, lunch, breakfast, my snacks, that wasn't going to happen by just like waking up and just hoping for the best, that I actually needed to plan. So that's kind of how Organize Yourself Skinny was born because I just started blogging about, freezer prep. Well, because I started like freezing things ahead of time, meal prep. I started talking more about that. And then I started doing things like uh just like other little habits and routines
Mhm.
just to make sure that I was able to fit a healthy lifestyle into
Good.
my hectic schedule. And
Yeah.
so from there I lost like 40 pounds. So anyway, I just like I said, I just started building, putting recipes on my blog, showing people how to make that ahead of time because one of the things that I always believed in and really just kind of drove home on my blog specifically, Organize Yourself Skinny, was I didn't feel like there was any point of a recipe if I couldn't make it ahead of time. So
Hmm.
I would just show people how to easily do that. Where, listen, I'm super busy, I have little kids, I work full time, and I was able to make this work for me when I wasn't able to do that at all when I was like single in college and
Yeah.
all of that. So that's how Organize Yourself Skinny started. And I talked a lot about habits and routines and just kind of those things that I needed that I did to really help me just create an environment that supported my lifestyle
Mhm.
instead of always trying to shove this latest diet into my life. And so that really worked for me. And I was able to turn that into my full-time business. And that's really what I've been talking about for, over what, 14 years? No, I don't even know, 10 years,
Time
11 years.
flies, right?
Yeah, I don't even know. But what I started, but as I got older, and I created like the a weight loss program, and I had a whole ebook that really just went through my entire process. But as I got older and as my I guess you'll call it my fan base or whatever, the people who were
Mhm.
reading my blog got bigger. I remember people always saying to me, um, I don't really need like a full program. What is one easy thing that I can do to just take that first step?
Right.
And I was like, you know what? And I'm always like really big on listening to my audience and trying to create what they want instead of always trying to tell them what I think they need. And
Right.
so as I started getting more people kind of asking me that same question, I remember thinking to myself, okay, well, what do I do? What are like the things that I eat that can just be really simple
Hmm.
and really just make a big difference. And I remember thinking, okay, well, I drink a smoothie every day
Hmm.
because it's easy. It makes my life easy. I'm able to get my collagen in, I put my chia seeds in there, my fruits, vegetables, like it's blended up, I'm ready to go. And so I was like, all right, let's do a smoothie challenge. And it's funny because I did my first smoothie challenge with my group, like with my readers, so like in my Facebook group in 2022. And so at that point, I'm like in my mid 40s, going through all the stuff like the perimenopause and all that.
Yeah.
I'm tired, I'm stressed, my kids are like teenagers and all of that stuff. And so I felt burnt out myself.
Right.
And I was like, you know what, let's just do a smoothie challenge. And so I took 10 smoothie recipes right off my blog. I have a bunch of smoothie recipes. I put them into a smoothie challenge, and my audience like absolutely loved it. And it reinvigorated them.
I
It
love that.
reinvigorated me. Yeah, it was amazing. And so then I was like, all right, well, and here's the thing about 10-day challenges, it's specifically smoothies and what I learned just from myself and my own experiences, but the same thing happens with other people is when not only is drinking a smoothie every day gonna make you just feel amazing because of you're getting hydrated, I'm eating more fruits and vegetables in a morning than I used to eat in an entire month.
Hmm.
Like you just naturally will feel good. But what I found was when we're focused on that one thing, so like that smoothie challenge for 10 days, you start to like your brain starts to kind of like shift a little bit. So
Yeah.
now, not only are you drinking this and you're feeling better, now you're starting to slowly create that habit.
Yeah.
And now you're getting that quick win and you just feel really good and you want to keep it going. You want to do other things. So after I did the smoothie challenge, I was like, all right, well, let's keep this going. What's another recipe that has been super beneficial in my life and I
Hmm.
think would be really easy for my readers, my audience to do. And that's when I put together the 10-day mason jar salad challenge. And that was a huge hit. And I love mason jar salads.
Yeah.
I've been eating mason jar salads probably since 2013. I mean, every week for, and this is the thing for me, for someone who was never able to stick to anything, like
Right.
always a hot mess, everything, unorganized, all of that. for me to be able to find something like mason jar salads and not only for it to work in my life and help me like stay healthy, it's something that I have literally stuck with for over 10 years. And I'm not like I don't ever get sick of them. Like I love
Right.
them.
Because they're so versatile.
They're versatile, they're easy to make,
Yeah.
they're easy to like stick, I need things to be easy in my life. If it is complicated at all, like at all, I will not do it or I
Life is
won't stick with
complicated
it.
enough. We don't need complicated
Yes,
salads.
my kids make it complicated enough. Like I don't need my salads to complicate my life at all. So I did the 10-day mason jar salad with me and obviously like my group in my Facebook group, and it was just awesome. And people loved it. And I started seeing, and they're all showing pictures, and
Yeah.
they're starting to have that same experience of, wow, I can do this. And
Hmm.
then from there, they become ready to like start something bigger, like really start shifting their mindset or maybe joining my weight loss program or whatever or purchase another one of my bundles. So they're ready to take that next step.
Right.
So yeah, so that those are my two. Well, from there I created then my whole 10-day healthy eating challenges
Hmm.
kit. And so that has my smoothie challenge, mason jar salad, overnight oats, and then I also did a dinner challenge where I literally I literally just like went back and thought about when I was first starting out, what just made it easy for me as a super busy working mom
Hmm.
with little kids, like how was I able to get dinner, a healthy dinner on the table that everybody would like, and that would also help me reach my weight loss goals and maintain my weight loss goals because I'm the
Right.
type of person I look at pizza and I gain like 10 pounds. So I needed something that was just going to make it just easy for me. And so when I put the dinner challenge together, that's where I was really starting to not just give them the recipes, and I
Hmm.
do this in all the challenges, but specifically in the dinner challenge, I wanted them to see the benefits of prepping things on Sunday,
Yeah.
making something on Sunday and we froze it for them to be able to have the next week for dinner. So really not just giving them like, okay, make these recipes, you're going to feel great. But I feel like the secret sauce of my challenges is to show them these like little meal prep tips, habits, routines that they can just start fitting into their life to
Yeah.
make it easier. And they start to realize, like, wow, I thought meal prep was this whole like super complicated thing. And I mean, you mean I just need to make like a batch of shredded chicken and I can like throw that into a dinner and that's okay?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, you don't need to make this a different recipe every single day. Like, here are some easy ways to do that. So, and that's how Reset and Flourish was born. So, I always say like organize yourself skinny was kind of like when I was, like when I was first starting out and just
Yeah.
really figuring out these like habits and routines and losing weight. And then I like moved on and I got older and then Reset and Flourish was born. And then it was just and they're both there and they both like complement each other. But Reset and Flourish is really where like that's I have my shop on Shopify and all of my guides are housed there. Like my challenge kit, I have my course on there, like my different programs. I have the big program, which I now call Flourish 52. So that's when people are really ready to dive in, they can kind of just sign up and then I have it where it's set up where for 52 weeks they get an email from me with like a meal plan, habit challenges, routines, all of that. So anyway, I would probably turn the whole thing to be Reset and Flourish, but in the blogging world, that's frowned upon to change your blog name. So hopefully someday I'll have another website where it can all be connected. But I'm good with it because it's like I said, organize yourself skinny is where I started. It's
Yeah.
how you kind of, take those first steps and then reset and flourish is everything just to kind of keep you going. So that was like
Yeah.
a long-winded of who I am, but that's everything in a nutshell.
Well, it's interesting because you look at that and like the evolution, right, of a food website. Like like you said, you got your feet wet with Organize Yourself Skinny, but then as you're going through that transformation yourself, it sounds to me like you figured out how those dots were connected and what those tricks were. And I think sometimes if you're new to a topic, right? Like maybe you need to get healthier, but you're not sure how to go about it. Just having someone who has been there and connected the dots can show you just those micro changes that you need to make to get to where you want to be. And it's so helpful, I think, when you can baby step your way through the process with those quick wins. Like start with the smoothies and just tackle breakfast. It's an easy meal. You'll start your day
Hmm.
off right. It's super simple. You could probably even prep that ahead of time, right? Just
Yep.
get everything all in a Ziploc, dump it in
Yeah,
the,
you could,
the
yeah,
blender.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I have, in fact, it's funny you say that because that's a part of the 10-day healthy challenges is I show them, we make all of our smoothie kits
Yeah,
ahead of time. So, and we label them and they're all ready.
awesome.
And
I don't want to give
with,
away all your stuff. I didn't even
oh
know
no,
that
that's
was in
okay.
yours.
No,
But I
that's
love that.
fine. But yeah, that's a big thing where, and with the 10-day, like, so with the smoothie challenge, I do encourage people to make, so it is 10 different recipes and you make 10 different smoothies. Of course, if they just want to make like one or two of them, but
Right,
I encourage just to try all of them because
right.
you never know what you like. And what's great about the smoothie challenge is you don't just have to stop at 10 days. Like
Yeah,
I'm really big on layering habits. So what I encourage is let's start with the smoothie challenge. And then you layer in the mason jar salad. So you don't
yeah,
stop smoothies, you keep them going and
yeah.
you
You
then
keep,
layer in.
yeah.
And I'll tell
That's
you,
smart.
yes. And when I drink a smoothie in the morning and eat my mason jar salad in the afternoon, I feel like I can just take on and solve all of world's problems because I'm telling you, and I was losing, like, I lost weight before I even got into like smoothies or mason jars. I was just kind of like doing portion control and keeping everything under, a certain amount, my nutrition. But when I then really started paying attention to like what I was putting in my body, and when I started drinking smoothies and mason jars and eating mason jar salads, I'm telling you, I was getting more fruits and vegetables in one day than I was getting in for months.
Right.
And that's the truth. And I would always say that I would have an apple that would just go on a field trip with me to work every day. And then I would just come home and bring it back and put it in the fridge, and then it would go back with me. It would be like a whole week of
Yeah,
like go with like mom to work day, you know what I mean, with the apple. But that's just when it comes to smoothies, everything goes in the blender.
yeah,
And it's all there. So yeah, I'm that's so with the 10-day smoothie challenge and the whole kit, it's all about those little changes and
right.
those little tweaks. And it's very effective. It's effective with me. I always, whenever I feel overwhelmed, um, getting off track, I always go back to that. It's like, all right, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna focus on just drinking my smoothie. Like that's all I
You're
need
gonna
to
go back
do.
to making smoothies for breakfast now after
Yes,
talking to
just
you.
yeah, I'm just gonna focus on that. And it makes such a huge difference with not just how you feel, but just
Mhm.
starting to then get your mind back in the game.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
love that. And you're absolutely right about trying different things with smoothies. So I used to be my son's Cub Scout leader and I had a group of 10-year-old boys. So I don't
Oh my
you have
gosh.
girls, so you probably don't know, but boys are very different.
Yeah, well, they're getting boyfriends now, and I feel like I need a second job just to like feed these kids because they eat
Yes.
so much.
Yes. So for our one program that we were working on, like I made them, they were going to make smoothies. So I brought in all the ingredients for the smoothies and I had kale and I had spinach and all the vegetable or the fruit and everything. And the boys are looking at me like I'm going to put that green, like I'm not going to drink that green thing. And
Hmm.
I made them try it and they all loved it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, see, this is kale and spinach and you have apple and pineapple, like all the
Oh
things. So
yeah.
it's interesting. Like when you look at it, when you blend it up, it's not so bad.
Yeah, and I always try. So whenever I'm teaching people about smoothies, like obviously, using something like baby kale and baby spinach,
Yeah.
they're not going to be as strong than if you
Right.
were using regular kale or regular spinach. Because sometimes when people have issues with smoothies and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it was just too green, it was too
Yeah.
strong." It's like, well, you got to use the baby
Yeah.
spinach, baby kale, and don't use as much. Like start small.
Yeah.
Take
Start small.
I really encourage my audience. We're starting small here. Like we
Yeah.
don't need to just, change everything. Just like because, just make these small steps because all of my audience are just like me and you. I mean,
Yeah.
busy moms, working, going through perimenopause, stress,
Mhm.
life, everything. And to say to them, well, now you have to give up pizza, wine, pasta. I mean, I don't want
Yeah.
that. You know what
Ice
I
cream.
mean? Yeah, ice cream. It's like, no, let's focus on the thing, like just taking it one small step at a
Right.
time and then making those changes instead of going into it again thinking like you have to shove this like new diet into your life. And another thing when I first started, what I found just like helpful for me, or not, or I shouldn't say helpful for me, but one thing I noticed, I guess, like as I was doing diets when I was younger compared to when I got older with kids, is these diets and these meal plans that are out there, they were just not taking into consideration that I had a family,
Yeah.
that I have kids, I have a husband, I have other people that I'm worried about. And so, yeah, maybe this diet would probably work if I stuck to it and everything. I mean, they will all work, but it wasn't working for my lifestyle. And that's where the major disconnect
Yeah.
was. And so that's where I try to teach my audience that I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. I'm going to help you figure out like what are the little things that you could, do in your own
Hmm.
life to create that supportive environment,
Yeah.
that will, like I said, support your weight loss goals or whatever your healthy lifestyle goals are.
Oh my gosh, I remember when I was a teenager doing, I don't know if you remember this one, like the 10-day miracle diet.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh,
like
yes.
like passed around from like housewife to housewife back in like the 80s.
Yes.
And I swear that that is what has turned me off completely as an adult from milk and celery and cucumbers because I think you had to
Yes.
have like all three at one time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I did so many,
Oh, I
probably
know. It
being
was
way too
crazy.
young and
Yeah.
yeah.
But this is smart. This is a great way to do it because like I tend to when I get into something and set my mind that, oh, okay, I'm gonna do, I want to go on this healthier eating thing, I will try to overhaul everything all at once.
Yep.
And then if something doesn't work or one thing doesn't work or I fall off the train, it's like, oh, that's it. Like, oh,
Hmm.
I did the whole Atkins thing there for a while. And it's like, whoop, had a carb, can't go
Yep.
back to not having carbs. Now let's just do all carbs again. So I like this plan because it's like I said, those mini steps that you're layering upon each other. And once you get one incorporated into your lifestyle, it's very easy then to take on another one and tackle like another area and then another area when you're ready.
Well, yeah, and then before you know it, you've changed
Yeah.
your lifestyle. And that's the other kind of, how I like position the 10-day healthy eating challenges kit is, within a month, you're going to change your whole
Yeah.
routine and you're not even going to realize it because you're just doing it slowly.
Yeah.
And now if you keep this going after a year, now you've changed your whole lifestyle. Now this is who you are. Like it's not just a diet, it's not just, something that you tried. Like this
Right.
is like who you are and you've learned to create it in a way that fits in your
Yeah.
life
And it's not
because
like a chore anymore,
no, and
boring eating.
yes, and when you think about as a woman, as like a mother, business owner, we are responsible with for so many things.
Hmm.
And so we have to already worry about, our household. And not saying we don't have partners that help us, but our household, our food, grocery shopping, dinner. If I had to now just worry about this like diet that was only about me, that wouldn't I wouldn't be able to do it even if
Yeah.
because it's just like, well, that's just extra work for me and I
Right.
don't need any more extra work. I need
Yeah.
something that just seamlessly fits into my life, especially back then when I was working full time outside the house, little kids that I'm dropping off at daycare, picking up from
Yep.
daycare. Um, and trying to build this business that I do now at
Mhm.
night after they go to bed. Like, how did I even function like in my 20s? I have no
I
idea because
know.
I'm
I
like,
wonder that too sometimes.
can you imagine if I could go back in time where I had no, like it was just me, I would be like a billionaire. I'd be, because I definitely did not like manage my time wisely when I was younger. But you know what? When you're older and wiser and you only have these small pockets of time and you
Right.
realize you want to make changes and you want those changes to stick, you learn how to work within the margins of your day,
Right.
whether that be with food or anything else. And yeah, I mean, it worked for me. And I think if it can work for me following, something simple like this, I definitely think it could work for anyone.
Yeah, and I love too that the three things you mentioned here, the smoothies, the overnight oats, the mason jar salads, they're all completely portable too. So you've
Yes.
eliminated that excuse right out of the
Hmm.
gate. Oh, I can't because like I don't have time for breakfast. Well, you can drink a smoothie on your way to wherever you're going.
Hmm.
You can eat overnight oats on your way to wherever you're going. It doesn't require heat or, anything special. Just grab and go. A mason jar salad, you can like I could eat that here at my desk while I'm
Hmm.
working. So
Oh yeah.
I love that it doesn't require anything special. You don't have to have all these like special things and tools and instructions and you're counting all this stuff like the work is done for you.
Yeah. And honestly, that's why I put those recipes in because those were the recipes that
Yeah.
made the biggest difference in my life. I mean, it wasn't just about like this like magical slow cooker recipe. It was like these are the exact
Yeah.
recipes that I have used to be able to stick to eating healthy, to fit healthy eating
Yeah.
habits into my hectic schedule. So,
Yeah.
and I do teach obviously like I have like freezer prep was huge in my journey, especially in the
Mhm.
beginning and still to this day. So I've created like freezer prep guides where I show you how to make other recipes like breakfast burritos, breakfast sandwiches, even just regular oatmeal cups ahead of time, other lunch options, other dinner options. And people can easily go to my shop and buy that. But for me, if you're like completely just overwhelmed and you're just wanting to kind of take those like first steps, like the 10-day healthy challenges kit is that's where I would always recommend someone start because
Right.
that's where you're learning like the little meal prep habits and routines and freezer prep habits and routines where then you could say like, okay, this isn't so bad, like I can do it. And then you could kind of come back and get like, the guides or, to
Yeah.
do like a full freezer prep batch session. Because that's super helpful too, but that's overwhelming sometimes if you've never freezer prepped before.
Yeah, I can see that like how it makes it so much easier. And just knowing that you've already, you've tried all these recipes. They're tested, they work, they're approved. So it's not like you're out scouring the internet looking for things, wondering if it's going to work for whatever your health goals are. You've already done that work for
Yeah.
them. And I love that because I don't have time. I mean, I'm on the internet all day long. I really don't have time to go scour and look for things that fit into whatever my goals are going to be or my lifestyle. So it's nice to have it all done for you. And I think in today's society, time is the precious commodity here.
Oh
And,
yeah.
if
Especially
you
when you're just like you've been doing it for so like you've been feeding your family for like 20 years now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like and same with
25.
me. Yeah, 25. So it's just kind of like you need and we always
You're in a rut.
yes, you're in a rut and you just need things to be easy, but you still
Mhm.
want to eat healthy and but also like I get very stressed out. Like if I don't have stuff in the freezer or if I don't prep anything on Sunday, I feel it by
Oh, it throws my
Tuesday.
whole week off.
I like definitely feel it. And if even if I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go grocery shopping on Monday, I will guarantee those ingredients will be sitting there on
Yeah.
Friday. And and I hate throwing stuff out. I hate
Hmm.
wasting money. So not only and I've also learned that things like meal prep and freezer prep, not only does that help me to like eat healthy, which was that was my number one goal when I started it. I've learned that it's helped me to just reduce my stress. It helps me
Yeah.
save money. It just keeps my sanity. Um, and also, it is something that I've really and as I've like created my guides and stuff and have thought like back over my experiences, it's it's really helped me. Like I've leaned into those during very difficult times in my
Mhm.
life. I just remember like COVID when it was just so chaotic and all the kids are home and I was like, "Oh my gosh." Taking that time to just put my earbuds in and just or do some meal prep, it just, I don't even know how to really fully explain it, but it just made me feel
Yeah.
more at peace. Like it just relaxed me because one, now I know I have this food in the fridge. I don't have to be, I still have to work. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about my kids, not being able, nothing's there, whatever. And so I've really leaned on those times in just moments of just like really like a lot of stress going on in my life. And so yeah, it's just interesting because you start these habits and routines with one goal in mind, say weight loss, but then you realize how much building those habits and
Mhm.
routines in your life just benefits in so many other ways.
Yeah. When I started meal planning, that totally shifted the dynamic of dinner time for us because I was no longer stressed out. I was that person where it was 3 o'clock and I'd be like, "Ugh, what are we gonna have for
I
dinner?
know.
I have nothing at the house. I have nothing thought. I got to stop on the way home." It just becomes like a whole thing in and of itself.
Yeah.
But now when I have it done and I have my little meal planner on the fridge written out for the week, it's like I feel this sense of calm because I don't have to think about it.
Yes.
For I know for the next 6 days, I don't need to think about it. But like you said, if I like, so I was gone away this week until Sunday, so I didn't do my normal routine and I went grocery shopping on Monday. It's like we're gonna have to eat out every night now because I am not I am not prepared. Like
Yep,
it threw
yep.
me
It
off.
it does. It throws you totally off. And
Yeah.
but see, that's how what I've learned from working with other women, that's how when they a lot of times when women find me, they've been living in that chaos
Yeah.
for like decades, their whole
Yeah.
life. And so now it's kind of like getting out of that chaos and moving them into that place where they feel that calm and that relief.
Right.
Not only are they eating healthy, but not, well, in all my programs, I call it getting out of the hot zone. And
Mhm.
being in that hot zone, especially as a busy mom, a busy woman, when you're in that hot zone all the time, you tend to make decisions based on stress, urgency. You're not
Yeah.
really making decisions based on your long-term goals. Like
Right.
you're like, I just need to fix
It's convenient.
what is happening right now.
Yep.
And so, yeah, so that's one of the things like meal prep, freezer prep, everything that I teach is all about let's get you out of that hot zone
Yep.
so you can make better decisions. Because I always say healthy choices are never made in the hot zone. So the goal needs to be able to get out of the hot zone.
Yeah. Nobody ever once said, "Oh, I don't know what to make for dinner. Ooh, let's have a salad."
Yeah, no.
Or maybe sometimes they do.
How about I just, I'll cut up some chicken and
Yeah.
I'll like, no, if it's like 3 o'clock and I have nothing prepared, I don't even know what we're eating.
It's like, what drive-through am
Yeah.
I going to hit on the way home?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that for sure. And that's a lot of people are in that, like stuck
Yeah.
in that, and they don't really know. They think like the latest restrictive diet is what they need when really
Right.
they just need to start learning these simple habits and routines and kind of just fitting just wholesome, real, good foods in an easy way into their life.
Right. And now, like, you're also learning the portion control, like you said, because, your salad is fitting into a mason jar. So you're not going to
Hmm.
overdo it on the dressing or the toppings or,
Yep.
whatever those things are. Same thing with the smoothies. Like you're portion controlling the amount of fruits you're putting in and balancing that with other, other things like that you said, like I think you said chia and vegetables and such. So, I mean, it's a good way to learn that balance and portion size.
Yeah, definitely, for
Yeah,
sure.
especially if you're not familiar with that. Mine is my eyes are always bigger than my stomach.
Oh
So when I
yeah.
go in hungry and it's like I'm like loading up, loading up.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's always a struggle. And I mean, I always say to my audience, like, I am not perfect. I mean, I am far from perfect. I still have ups and downs
Yeah,
with my weight. I have good weeks, I have bad weeks, but these skills and like the habits and routines that I've learned, like they keep me going. Like I'm able to
yeah.
come back to them. They've helped me to bounce back
Right.
faster.
So
Where
even when
when
you
I
fall off, yeah,
Yes, because when I
you're back
didn't
on track.
have those skills, I would just spiral and I would just stay in that spiral until I got the next burst of motivation to do the next diet that would make me, that I would fail at and I would just spiral again. So, it's just learning those habits and routines that you can just, and
Yeah.
that fit your life. They're not just these
Yeah.
cookie cutters, they fit your life.
Yeah, that's what's great. And I love that, like how things have evolved into that. Like gone are the days of like that 11-day or 10-day, I don't even know what it was called, the miracle diet. And
Hmm.
I like it's just totally changed from that because now it's things that you can just incorporate into your life. No longer are you reading it, you have to have half a cup of this and a quarter cup of that and one hard-boiled
Hmm.
egg and
Yeah, sometimes I still see it in the whole like low carb keto
yeah.
world where it's very, and I'm not saying like if anyone wants to do that,
Yeah, that's
it's
if
their
that's a good
choice.
yeah,
But I do feel like sometimes I do see a lot of these restrictive diets sometimes being packaged as like, well, it's a lifestyle. And it's like, okay, maybe I can see that, but like how realistic sometimes is it for to make whatever you do on that first day, you got to be able to do the rest of your life. So
right.
if you feel like you can't if it makes you like physically sad to think about not eating, because it makes me physically sad to
Yeah,
think about not eating pasta or pizza or having a glass of wine. Like,
yeah,
I can't go into a lifestyle change thinking in that way. Like, I have to think, like, what can I do to make this work for me? And so yeah, while it's not like the 10-day diet like we're used to seeing when we were younger, I do still think that there's a lot of restrictive diets that make it that almost like make you feel like, well, if you don't follow it this exact way, especially
right.
as like an older perimenopausal woman, then you're just not going to lose weight. And I
Yeah.
don't believe that. I don't think that to be true at all.
Well, and even if you weren't shedding, dozens of pounds all the time, it doesn't hurt to make these healthy swaps, right?
Exactly.
Nobody has ever said you really need to stop eating salads. You really need to slow that. Like nobody has ever
Yeah.
said that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it does help to start incorporating these healthier habits. And then I would think if you like, let's say you did the smoothie part, now you're into the salad part. I mean, that can help for dinner too, because if you're ever stuck, you'd be like, oh, I've
Mhm.
got like three prepped salads. We could have that.
Yep. Oh yeah. I have a lot
Like
of my
helps you out of
audience
a
that,
bind.
yep, they make them for dinner. So
Mhm.
that's the thing. It's just like adjusting it to fit your lifestyle and like what
Right.
works for you.
My husband
Definitely.
would need the bigger mason jar.
Yeah, well, I do make 32 ounces and they are filled with protein. I mean,
Yeah.
I always put turkey or chicken, beans, quinoa. I mean,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of, I mean, I'm telling you, when I have my mason jar salad, I wake up looking forward to it. Like
Yeah.
I am like, oh, I cannot wait for mason jar salad. Like it's so good. But yeah,
There,
like you can make it with whatever, you want to make it with. And if you need more protein, if you need more fiber, whatever you need, like they're adjustable. Just once you learn how to layer them, which I teach in the challenge, you could make them however you want.
yeah, that's awesome. This is great. Thank you so much for sharing all these ideas with us, Tammy. Now, if the listeners wanted to learn more about your programs, where is the best place for them to find you?
I think the best place for them to find me would be my resetandflourishshop.com. So just go resetandflourishshop.com. That'll take you to my Shopify store, and that has all of my bundles and my guides. And I'm slowly adding in like more of my programs and all of that. If you're looking just for recipes or even just to read some blog posts, you can go to Organize Yourself Skinny, and I have so much on there. I mean, I've been blogging on there since 2011. And so all of the recipes, content, everything is there. So, but if
Okay.
you're looking for it to be perfectly packaged and all put together for you, then go to resetandflourishshop.com and you can go ahead and grab one of my guides or bundles.
Okay, and we will put the links, or I should say, I will put the links to all of that in the show notes so that if you wanted to reach out to Tammy or check out her products, you can very easily just go to the show notes and find it there wherever you're finding today's episode. So thank
Awesome.
you so much for joining me today, Tammy. This has been a great discussion. I think I'm going to go grab that
Yeah.
smoothie challenge. I think I need
Yeah,
to.
well, I will send it to you. Yeah, I will send you all of it so you can just test it out, see what you think. But yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, same here. Well, thank you. And if you enjoyed what you learned today, Make sure you check out Tammy's sites, resetandflourishshop.com and organizeyourselfskinny.com. And thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Behind the Recipe. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and picked up a few tips, or maybe even a lot of tips or recipes that you can try in your kitchen. And if you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. So send me your questions, feedback, or recipe ideas. Just head over to itisakeeper.com/BTR. Until next time, happy cooking, and remember, everything's better when shared in the kitchen.